we are joined with 8-time PGA Tour winner and 2-time Travelers Championship winner, Keegan Bradley. Keegan, congrats on the win. Take us back to on the 18th hole with the birdie. What was it like standing over the putt and watching it sink?
Well, it was really strange, actually, because I didn't really expect to have it to win. So all of a sudden I had a putt to win the tournament. Hadn't led ever till, the last putt. So really what dreams are made of. I'm really proud of myself for it's a lot of energy on that last hole with the crowd. And I did a great job of sort of staying in my own little zone and doing what I do best.
And what was it like seeing wife Jillian and Logan and Cooper, mom and dad, in-laws, family, friends, and the whole community support around you?
Pretty great. The support I get here, the support I get everywhere with the Ryder Cup captain and the USA chance, but especially here, it's pretty incredible. And to have my family here, I've been fortunate enough to win a few times with my family and other members of my family around, which never doesn't happen a lot for guys. And what a special thing to be able to experience.
Thank you, Keegan. We'll go and open up to media. Same as always. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone over to you. No one at once? Joe, we'll go right here in the front.
How gutted are you for Tommy?
Yeah, I listen. I know how hard it must be for him. He's just an unbelievable player, and he's fighting so hard to get his first win. And it's a weird thing to be on the other side of that. I do feel bad for him, but I got to go out and do what I need to do. But he battled today, and I really hope that he gets his win soon.
If the 6 automatic qualifiers and the assistant captains feel that you should be a captain's pick, would you reconsider?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this changes the story a little bit. I never would have thought about playing if I hadn't won, and this definitely opens the door to play. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but I certainly have to take a pretty hard look at what's best for the team. And we'll see. We still got it's still June, so we still got a long ways to go. But this definitely changes things a little bit, and we'll all get together and figure out the best way to do this.
Doug, right behind Joe.
Just to get back to golf, just for a second, when you are you plugged behind 14?
Yeah.
When all you can do is blast out to 40 feet, and you see Tommy in there tight, how do you keep hope up at that point?
Well, I felt like I was chasing all day. I never felt like I'd get within one and then I'd bogey the next hole. I'd go to get down 2. I'd get within 1, get down 2, and then all of a sudden I'm down 3 after 14. But him missing that putt definitely helped me. But I kept reminding myself that so many things can happen on these last 4 holes, from birdies and eagles to bogeys and doubles. I mean, there's water on almost every hole, and I knew this was going to be tough to come down to the stretch for Tommy to get his first win. And I just tried to keep my head down, try to hit good shots, and I made that long putt on 15. Obviously, without that putt, I don't think I would have been where I was coming up 18.
Very far left, Max here.
Keegan, when you accepted the captaincy, did you kind of have in mind that it is a possibility that you could play your way onto the team or play well enough to be deserving of a captain's pick? And, when moments like this happen, how do you feel that when people are constantly asking you about the possibility of being the first playing captain since 1960, I believe?
Yeah, so I got the call at 8 o'clock tonight, a year ago today. So I've been getting these questions for a year, whether I play well or play poorly. It's something that I've become used to. To be honest with you, I never really planned on playing. I really wanted to just be the captain. I really felt strongly about that. I want to serve the guys. They asked me to do a job. I want to do it to the best of my abilities. Now with the amazing vice captains that I have, and I have a better perspective of, playing in the President's Cup and being around a lot of the guys, I feel a lot more comfortable if I went that route. I'm really proud of the guys that are vice captains, and obviously you got Jim Furyk, one of the greatest players to play, and also an incredibly great captain at the President's Cup.
Kevin Price.
Hey, Keegan, when you're getting ready for that putt on 18, were you looking at the hole as it appeared you might have been looking at the hole on the putt, the winning putt?
Yeah, I was.
How often do you do that, and what's the inspiration for doing that?
5-6 feet and in, I 6 feet's about my cutoff, and I've been doing it for years. I feel, I talked to some like basketball players. MJ would say you'd never look at the ball when you shoot a free throw. You look at the rim. So I started doing it. I started to putt a lot better doing it. I actually extended how far out I do it this year. So I probably wouldn't have looked at the hole last year from that distance, but I've been doing that for 5-6 years at least.
And your wife kind of described it as still kind of like out of a movie, just like what happened today. Obviously, you're still in the moment and a lot's happened, but are you able to like appreciate kind of what just happened at your home event, the upcoming Ryder Cup captain just won this event, like a once in a lifetime situation?
Well, I was on the 18th tee, and I looked out, and I couldn't believe how many people were up there. And then I hit my drive. I had a perfect drive, and I saw it land in the fairway, and I heard the crowd like really cheer when it hit the fairway. And I thought, oh, I've never heard that before when I've hit a drive. And then, when I was walking up to the ball, they're cheering me on. And then when it was my turn to hit, the crowd really started to like cheer. Like I couldn't believe it. I had to take a second to like get it together here because I needed to hit a shot. And then when it landed and hit the green, because I can't really see where the ball is, the crowd really went crazy. And then when Tommy hit his putt right behind my coin, they went crazy again. And then when I had the putt to win the tournament, they were cheering, and I really felt. I'm not a very calm guy, and I felt, for me, very calm over that putt, which was strange. And I had a putt to win the tournament, and I just went through my routine, all the stupid cliches that we all say. I just went through my process, my routine. Tommy's putt, sometimes I don't like when you see the players hit the putt. I saw his break a ton, and when I went and felt it with my feet, I felt it at a half degree, and his broke more like a 1 or maybe more. And I just decided to trust my read because I didn't feel it. And I played mine left center, and it went in right in the middle. So what an incredible memory.
And your wife's support, just I guess in general throughout this process of, the last year and in your career as a whole, what has that meant to you, just her being there by your side?
Yeah, I feel so lucky to have the support group I have around me, but for my wife especially is really the hero of our family. And, like last night, my 4-year-old was throwing up all night. I didn't know until I woke up today. So, she plays a major role in me doing what I do, and she allows me to be the best that I can be out here. And you don't always get that in sports or in business or in life. And she allows me to be the best that I can be, work on my game, practice as hard as I can. And, I'm really grateful for that.
We're going to pass the microphone back to Dave.
Keegan, at the beginning of the day, the math sort of said it was really 3 or 4 of you that had somewhat separated yourselves from the rest of the pack. From the outside, it sort of looked a little bit like there were some tough starts for some of you guys, and it was a little bit disjointed. Are you surprised, given how this course oftentimes plays, that one of you didn't sort of go on a run, make 3 or 4 birdies, and create some level of separation? Or did you think, given the circumstances and the pressure, that keeping things sort of bunched up was going to be the way it was going to be today?
Yeah, certainly that's the possibility here. Is I knew when Scotty was leading, what was that? Yeah, it might have been yesterday. He could have got out and shot. It wouldn't have surprised me if he shot 8 or 9 under, and then that's tough for me. But when this course gets windy like this, these shots get extremely difficult, especially on the backside, because there's water everywhere. There's out of bounds, and you have to hit perfect shots. And if you don't, and on 13 you can make. 13 for me is the hardest tee shot that I've hit all year. I'm just so grateful when it lands on grass if it does, because it can be there for a while. But there's a lot of really, really tricky shots. And there's the rough was a little higher, and so when it gets windy like this and there's a lot of crosswinds, it's difficult to hit these little fairways and these greens. But there's always the possibility that someone go out there and shoot low. But when it's playing like this is a tricky little track.
I'll bring the microphone back up to Doug.
You've been hearing a bunch of USA cheers for 1 year now, probably, every tournament you've played. Does it sound different here?
It does. It was louder. Yeah.
Why?
I've always gotten really great support here, but I don't know. Today was insane. I've been getting it. It's something that I didn't expect when I got this job. I just never crossed my mind, and I get it when I'm playing golf. I get it when I'm pumping gas. I get it at restaurants. People are saying it, but I never expected this sort of support for the Ryder Cup captain. I had this epiphany at the PGA Championship when I was getting these loud USA cheers that I don't think any player in the history of the game has experienced what I'm experiencing, in that I'm a Ryder Cup captain. In my eyes, still one of the best players in the world trying to win majors and tournaments. And not a lot of people have experienced coming down the stretch of a tournament as the Ryder Cup captain of big tournaments. And I've tried to embrace that and tried to feed off the energy, but they were really loud this week.
Is this the closest you've experienced anything like Medina?
18 was. 18 was really close, I think, to a Ryder Cup. You couldn't get many more people on that hole, and there was like a, almost like when you're in Fenway Park or something. There's like it never got quiet. It was still people cheering, and pretty incredible.
Have you played at Fenway?
Not baseball. I haven't played at Fenway. I've been to Fenway.
Is it if you'd have been told a year ago when you accepted the job that at this point you'd be number 7 in the world, would that have surprised you?
Well, not. I don't know. It's the lowest I've ever been in the world. When they called me and told me that I was being the Ryder Cup captain, the first thing they said was, "We want you to be the first playing captain since Arnold Palmer in 1962." And my head was spinning. I didn't know what they were talking about, but they knew that was a possibility and that we would have things in place for that. But I'm always trying to be the best that I can be, and I feel like I'm playing the best golf of my career right now. And, a year ago, I don't know if I would have thought I'd be 7th in the world, but I certainly thought I'd be, contending in tournaments. Well, when the PGA of America called me, and Zach Johnson was on the call, and Seth Waugh was the person who called me, and he mentioned that he wanted me to be, because when I get the call, I'm thinking I really want to be on the team. And he first thing he said was, "We want you to be the first playing captain since Arnold Palmer," which is a heavy burden. But and I'm also fortunate if Tiger or Phil or these guys got a captaincy at my age, they would have done it the same way. I've just been lucky enough to be asked to do this at a younger age.
Dave back.
Keegan, is there something that you have developed over the course of the last year that you either tell yourself, like a mantra, or some type of a ritual that doesn't let you then sort of get swept up in the energy? Like if you're standing up on there 18, the chants are going on before you're hitting putts, I would imagine be really easy to get swept up in there. What do you do to not let that happen?
Well, I've been on the tour for 15 years. I've won big tournaments. I've won a major. I've been in these situations before. Maybe not quite as extreme with the crowds, but I really genuinely enjoy it. And I think sometimes when you're trying to win, it's not enjoyable. It's terrifying. I've had that as well, and it doesn't feel comfortable, and you feel like you're. I think Berger said at the AT&T one year that it feels like you're going to have a heart attack every hole you try to win a tournament. Sometimes it does, and then sometimes you have these weird moments, like I had on 18, where I felt very comfortable over each shot. I can't explain to you why, but I've practiced, thousands of hours to do this. I practice breathing techniques that help me stay calm, and I think they help.
Perfect. Any others?
It was I had 139, and it was a 9-iron, and I played at 146, which is an ear-to-ear swing that I've practiced, I don't know, about 100,000 times. It was just a shot that I've hit so many times in practice at the Grove, and it was a perfect number. Ear-to-ear. Thank you, guys.
Final question from Kevin.
And then when you're kind of playing with Russell, or it could be anyone, but today, kind of, for example, do you like evaluate, like in your mind, is there anything like, oh, about the Ryder Cup and what could be, whether they could fit on the team and what type of stuff they do on the team? I guess you don't do it in the moment, but like, do you think about it after when you're thinking about the round? And
I think about it. I think about it after, but not with a player like Russell. Russell's way up on the points. Won Bay Hill this year. Consistently contends in the majors. Finished in the top 5 at U.S. Open. World class player. This Russell Henley. I wouldn't want to play him if come Ryder Cup time. He's just that chip on 18. Just like he's just nasty, and I love it because he's like the nicest guy ever. But he's an amazing competitor, and if it was a younger player maybe, but not a guy like Russell.
And lastly, just the emotion on 18. You take it in, you go over to the crowd. What's going through your mind, and just what are you feeling today after holding that putt?
Well, sometimes when I watch guys win tournaments and they don't do anything, I don't get it because this is your chance to explode. We work so hard to get to these moments, and we work so hard on pushing all of our emotions down. And for me, it's like, that's nothing. Like, I'm holding that in. I want to do that on the second hole. So for me to be able to let that out is really fun. Some bad words. I probably shouldn't. I did after I did it. I was like, "Whoops, my mom's gonna be upset." So you can figure it out.
On that note, again, congratulations.
Thank
Keegan.
you. Thanks, guys.
You don't mind, I'm going to have you stay.
All right. All right. All right.